Good evening, everyone, and on tonight's show we'll be discussing ways in which a woman can totally put a man off. Ladies, maybe you have loads going for you, but there are mistakes that you make that are a big no-no. And to help me with this one tonight, I have counsellor and psychotherapist Ian Mickey, and also Sean Brickell, who's an award-winning entrepreneur, author and confidence and communication expert. So both are going to be giving us their expert opinions from a man's point of view, of course. So women, stay tuned, as you might learn something, because let's face it, maybe you've had a bit of bad luck in your love life and you don't know what's going on. You'd like some tips from our experts, so you're going to learn it all here tonight. So if you would like to participate in this program, if you'd like to give us a call to give your opinion, you can do so on 020-7686-6300, and you can also email Chris at chrissybshow.tv. Do you think there's anything that you've been doing that's put a man off in the past? And also, what do you think is a really big, you know, something that men really like about women, apart from the obvious, the looks and stuff? Or what else about her character perhaps is something that men would really like? Give us your opinion. Men, you're free to call as well, although sometimes you're a bit quiet, but we'd love to hear your opinion. But first, let's speak to the lovely Lisa Marie. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So what do you think puts a man off? Just one thing?
Oh my gosh, I think
there's loads, isn't there?
There is. Hopefully not about me.
Oh no,
never. I think definitely like talking too much. I think you know there has to be a bit of a awareness here about when it's too much information shared.
You're quite chatty there.
I am. Hopefully, as it's not an off-putting level.
Okay.
You know. But one thing that when I was looking out there about things that do put men off, and plastic surgery was a big one.
Oh.
But obviously too much. I think that in today's society, whether I agree with it or not, it's quite common for people to do different procedures as men and women. But there are some people that go too far. And I know that we've all heard of people like the Bride of Wildenstein, Joyce Wildenstein, and Jackie Stallone, but there are like a few others. For example, our very own Katie Price, aka Jordan. She's only 32, but her addiction to surgery has cost her upwards of £100,000 from getting liposuction as a 20-year-old. I mean, there was nothing to her.
But I don't think she looks ridiculous like some people that do a lot of surgery. I thought she looked really good before.
She
Very
did,
natural
but
looking. But I don't think she looks ridiculous now like some.
I think when you get close up,
really,
you see, and I think a lot of the things she's done were unnecessary. I mean, she's said herself she regrets having liposuction at 20 because she did it on bad advice. She didn't actually need it, and she's gone through problems afterwards. But she's also had 6 rounds of breast enhancements, the first of which when she was just 18. She said of Botox, I mean, she has Botox every 4 months. She's 32, I don't know where the wrinkles are. She has it down the side of her eyes. She's not really wrinkly anyway, so I probably don't even need it. I only do it because everyone else has it done.
Oh no, that's
Botox
silly.
isn't a big deal for me. It's like going shopping.
Is that?
I don't get it. 32. I mean, if people want to do it, it's their choice.
Do you know what? I want to introduce our guests already. We've got Sean here and Ian. Hi guys. How are you?
Hello. Hi.
Welcome to the show. So, what do you think about that story? Is plastic surgery a big no-no? Do you think for you?
A huge no-no. I think it's. I mean, obviously, I'd like to think we're in a Botox-free zone here.
Yes, we are.
Definitely.
I can tell.
All natural.
Youthful looking. I think it's one of the most, and we'll sort of get onto this. One of the most potently attractive qualities of anyone, and certainly from a man's point of view, a woman, is naturalness. And therefore any form of cosmetic surgery. I mean, Demi Moore, she spent what, $250,000 on looking awesome, at least on screen. I haven't seen a close up. It might be a bit of a horror show with the wrong lighting. I don't know, but it goes against the grain of naturalness, and the more unnatural you become, therefore I think potentially less attractive you become. And also it says something about your psychology as well, which I'm sure Ian you could comment on as well.
Yeah, what do you think, Ian?
No, I mean, I was just thinking about that, and I suppose that in our society, the thing is that we want to, like our phone, we want to upgrade ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think the reality is that we have to come to terms with the fact that we can't upgrade. But then that says a lot about our self-esteem and what's going on, and it's all about image, and the more that we end up being on sort of, avatars and so forth, we're so obsessed with image. And I think we kind of lose touch with, what's going on down here, what's going on in our heads, what's going on deep down, really.
And also, it's really unattractive as well. I remember being at a street party in Belgravia, another summer street party, and at one point I was surrounded by 6 women ranging in age from about 28 to somewhere in her 60s, I reckon, and all of them had cosmetic surgery, and all of them really should be suing them, their cosmetic surgeons. And I was just transfixed, and they think, oh, he's looking at me, maybe he likes me. I'm thinking, no, not really, you not so much. And because it wasn't quite right. Everything was stretched, it was wrong, it was unnatural.
I don't know, sometimes I really think it's an issue inside when someone does it too much, because they don't need it. A lot of pictures that we see, they look better before, like Katie Price and other people.
I agree.
Yeah.
And even going further, we have Heidi Montag, who, I mean, she is so, advanced in age, that she felt that she had to literally do 10 procedures in one day.
How old is she?
Heidi Montag is 26 years old. She has had
Why?
liposuction, breast and butt augmentation, nose job and chin reduction, surgery on her ears to pin them down, Botox and fillers, all in one sitting at a cost of around $1 million. Wow. She rose to fame on a reality TV show, and when you see her before and after, it was unnecessary at such a young age. I mean, I think that she was probably about 23, 24 when she actually got it done, which, in all honesty, she should be, well, she can't sue her plastic surgeon because he's actually dead. But, you'd think that somebody wouldn't advise someone so young who is still growing, and maturing, to have that much plastic surgery done.
Because you're not the same person in your 20s as you are in your 30s. Even the way you think and everything, you just change completely, don't you?
And this next one, I mean, I was shocked when I actually saw this before pictures, because Kris Jenner, who most people will know as the Momager, she's the mum of Kim, Kourtney, Khloe, Kendall, and I can't remember the other one, Kardashian. You see her there now. She has had over $250,000 worth of plastic surgery.
Wow.
When I saw how she was before, you wouldn't even put that person as she is now. You wouldn't even think that's the same person. When I was comparing pictures from her wedding to her first husband, Robert Kardashian, she's totally unrecognisable. She's actually, I think, nearly 60. And you wouldn't have a clue from, well, some of the pictures, obviously, close up, it could be different. But even on the show, you've actually seen her have facelifts. She's had facelift, Botox, a neck lift, nose job, chin implant, breast implants, liposuction, and who knows what else. But it's ridiculous when she doesn't look like
I can understand it, not agree with it to an extent, but I can understand it at that age, because maybe she's had a bad relationship before, she's afraid of losing her man to a younger guy, because a lot of women think, oh, it's because of my age, for example, that my relationship's not going well, he's looking at a younger woman. But they don't realise that a man is not, it's not just about the looks, it's about who you are as a person, your confidence and everything. So some women feel that they should do it, they need to do it as they get older, because they want to keep their man. Well,
it seems that when you see pictures of her husband, Bruce Jenner, he has got addicted to the plastic surgery too. So obviously it's catching there in California. And obviously it's girls... competition. I don't understand it. It's like, they were natural looking, youthful looking. And it's now that they just look ridiculous, so taut. And I think it's even more ridiculous when you see like pictures of 83-year-olds and their skin, there's not a wrinkle. It's like, embrace it. When you're that age, it's allowed, honestly. I mean, and Donatella Versace now, she has never actually come out and said and admitted and held her hands up and said that I've had plastic surgery. But when you see pictures of Donatella Versace before, and like in like the 70s and the 80s, and now when you look each decade, her face has gone under so much transformation. She's had, it's evident, she's had nose jobs, lip enhancement, facelifts, and she probably has regular Botox and filler injections. But again, that's another thing, when people deny it, they say that I've never had plastic surgery, and it's like, really?
So obvious.
Before and after it, and it's blatantly obvious. I mean, her lips are now like twice the size that they were when we saw earlier pictures. And again, people just chasing this element of youth. I know that she's obviously in a very high pressure industry where it is all about the looks, all about the image. But there are so many people who are out there embracing it within the fashion industry still. I mean, I know she's kooky and out there, but Vivienne Westwood is somebody you'd never see who would be, you know, plastic surgery, Botox and all of that. Maybe her dress sense is just toned down a bit, but she owns it. She works it for herself and embraces her age. Somebody as well who...
We've run out of time, Lisa Marie.
No, this one, okay, you have to come back to this one.
All right, we'll come back to this one because I want to hear what she's going to say. So do join us after the break. We'll be speaking what are experts who are going to be giving their opinion about, you know, what puts a man off, and perhaps the psychological reasons as well why women feel that they, you know, have to behave in certain ways. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, How to Put a Man Off. And now we're going to speak to our experts to find out their opinion. So can you tell us briefly what you do, Sean, first of all?
Sure. I'm a transformational confidence communication expert. So I work generally with organisations around the world, helping their sort of C-class execs, their management and their staff with their practical confidence and communication skills. So how to make presentations, how to, you know, platform dynamics, networking, body language, linguistics, everything else, and practical stuff that I've learned, you know, in war zones. I've learned from others in war zones. I used to do undercover work as a journalist, and also working in big business, and other random experiences in life, plus throw in some psychology, study and wide reading, and just a fascination with people, blend it together and do stuff that works in a simple way, and that's what I do. And
so maybe you can help the viewers tonight with the confidence as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Great. And you, Ian, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm a psychodynamic counsellor, and I have my own private practice in North London. Right. I've also worked in a crisis unit for quite a long time, actually for about 5 years, and I've worked in a GP practice, and I've also worked in an addictions unit.
Right, okay. It's quite, we've got sort of quite a wealth of experience here, so it's going to be a good show. So I'd like to show you some street interviews first of all, on our viewers, obviously. We asked men on the streets, you know, what they didn't like about women's behaviour, and then we're going to come back and discuss it with the both of you. So let's take a look at this.
What would put you off a woman, basically, if they were, say, great looking, wicked personality, but there's something, because there's something they could do that make you think, oh no, she's not for me?
When they're too clingy and they try and act stupid, try and act dumb and think it's cute. It's not cute at all. It's irritating. You know exactly what you're doing. It's just games like that are silly.
Possibly, again, depending on the situation, jump straight into the talk about like love and marriage and things like that, or even just be really clingy from the start, you know, just straight away like, oh, I'm going to follow you everywhere and do this and do that, and wherever you go I'm going to go. It's just, you know, to anyone it would be a bit creepy, I think. So
just want someone who is very in your face, sort of clingy, and or just, yeah, to where you go I'll follow sort of thing.
Racist comments are usually a big turn off. That's yeah, just general anyone who's a bit bitchy, or just, you know, even if it's someone that I don't particularly like, if they'll keep on, you know, insulting someone just for the sake of it.
You know, bite her toenails, or, you know, birth or something like that, you know, go over expensive with food, you know.
Okay, a few varied opinions there. Which ones did you like?
I was concerned about the man in the hat. And the other guy, actually even worse. He's obviously had women who bite their toenails when they meet him. I mean, that's a huge worry. I've never had that experience. I don't know if you have, Ian, but we should cut that out. That's,
those are them, that's sort of what he said there about sort of bad manners and stuff. I think that's a more obvious sort of thing that would put anyone off. You know, not just a man, opposite sex or whatever, but anyone would cringe at seeing those kind of things. But some of I noticed that, I think 3 or 4 of them said the same thing about being clingy.
Yes.
Why are women clingy sometimes, do you think?
Well, I think that, you know, the real struggle in relationships is about need and independence and dependency. And I think that you can see all the men out there, they're all saying that this is too much. So in a way, it's almost as if they're feeling they've got too much responsibility around dealing with, you know, being a sort of nurturing person. So I think that, you know, it's a lot to do with how there's a huge amount of anxiety involved when you're clingy. And it's maybe just about being able to sort of tolerate possible rejection and being able to feel comfortable with that. So sometimes I think that there's a demand for reassurance, so that women become very clingy because they really want the reassurance. But the reason why is they're not getting it. And all the men that we saw there, you could see that, well, they weren't going to do it anyway because they were like, well, I don't want that. I don't want to be, I don't want to manage that.
Or maybe they haven't met the right woman, maybe, perhaps?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't bother them.
Or it might just be the wrong, that in some circumstances, someone could be clingy, and then when they have the reassurance, then they're able to sort of sit back.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just about sort of looking for that reassurance that makes them go for it even more. Okay. It's almost a bit like the earlier article about everyone doing plastic surgery. It's like they're not getting the reassurance, so they just keep going. They keep going.
I think also there's I think women generally, you have a better emotional thermostat than men. That's a generalisation because you just at a young age you discuss stuff, you cry, you share emotions, you talk,
express ourselves
about 2,000 words a day more than even Ian and I, and therefore you're much more tuned into emotions, and both the good and bad. You know how to deal with them. The way that generally a lot of men don't know how to, because we have to project an image of strength. Of independence, and therefore we don't want to show weakness, and therefore weakness.
Is that how you actually feel, though? Is that just like a front?
Often, it's it's a good. It depends on the man. I think it can be a mixture. Sometimes
that's a good point.
Sometimes it is a front, and I think
you expect it to be that way.
What a lot of, obviously, I can't believe I'm giving away a state secret on behalf of men.
Exclusive, Chrissy B Show.
And they don't realise just how bad hurty knee and man flu are. But be that aside, no, seriously. Some of the things we have to put up with, but also actually men don't want to show weakness or vulnerability, and certainly the more alpha men you're meant to be and how you think you're meant to be, certainly with women, actually underneath a lot of men, no matter how confident they appear when it comes to asking a woman out or dealing with emotion, will actually not be able to deal with it in the same way and to the same volume, the same extent, the same depth that women will be able to. And therefore, men need to be broken in more gently. Just because emotionally, men and women have different tolerance levels, certainly at the beginning, and it's just meeting and matching in the middle, and women have to adjust to that. And they're often, sometimes women operate or treat men as if they're women emotionally, and when they're not, we're men, and we need to be broken in gently.
This is the thing, because we can't treat, for example, you have a partner, you can't treat him like you would your girlfriend. You can't expect the same things from him because he's the man. He's not going to be like, he's not going to want to express himself the way you do and stuff. And I think that's what a lot of women get into trouble with, because they're expecting their man to be like a woman, and he's not.
Yeah, and that's where you get the clinginess. And I think some women, I think we're in an interesting time, because a generation of 30, 40 something women in particular now have more opportunities in life and more potential independence, financially, professionally, culturally, socially, yes, and sexually. And this is very exciting for women. It's also exciting for men, for real men who like real women. But by the same token, men struggle to adjust with that. I think so do women sometimes. And therefore, you get an issue where both sexes are adjusting to this new state, as it were, and women sometimes think, well, actually we have greater freedom, therefore we can go out for what we want, and men think, oh, I'm being asked out by a woman, I'm trying to be seduced by a woman. This is most disconcerting. This wasn't in the rule book when I was a boy. So
I would sort of like to offer something that, it seems that what's being looked at here is what are women doing wrong, but actually I wonder if the confusion is that males are actually going through sort of a bit of an identity crisis in our new world, the more liberal, balanced world. And I think that in a lot of cases, a lot of women are identifying with men in ways, and then they sort of go, well, where are you? Where are you coming from? In what way are you going to be in this balanced society that we're in? And how are you going to be? So I think in some cases it's actually the men who are having the crisis, and it's actually not the women. It's just that they're very confused as to how to be with them. On one level, they can be very independent and very strong and seen to be, moving forwards in that way, and then other times they want to be clingy, they want to feel protected.
I like to feel protected, I have to admit, because I used to be very, very clingy with my boyfriend then, but it was because I was not confident about myself, and I thought, okay, I've got this guy, he makes me feel better, because I had depression at the time. So he used to, when I was with him, I would feel good around him, I'd feel better. So I think that's why I clung to him so much, that if I wasn't, as long as I was with him, I felt that much better, so I would be clingy. As soon as I was away from him, I'd start to feel worse again. So I used to cling to him for that reason, plus I had loads of complexes and all these kind of things, and it caused so many problems. So I think being over clingy does point to a deeper problem within the person. because you know, and it's horrible for the other person to go through as well, because I don't think anyone likes to be smothered. But let's take a look at some more interviews. Have we got time for more interviews? I think we have. Let's take a look at the second set of interviews.
What do you think men really want? Not what you say to necessarily what you might say to a woman, but what you say to your closest friend, or what you think, what you'd really want from a woman.
Someone who's not too clingy, someone who actually likes you for you and doesn't try and change you. And it's not a money grabber. They're the worst.
In my opinion, I think it's again, it depends on the people in general. Like people have different ways of expressing themselves and expressing their love to someone else. I mean, in my opinion, obviously the naughtier side of things is always fun, but at the same time, you are kind of looking for someone to have a good time with and spend time with.
What anyone wants, just the companionship and just someone honest and good, and someone that you enjoy spending time with.
So Daniel, what do you think men want from women?
Relationship, kids, marriage, lots of sex.
For me, it's always being in the same place as someone romantically, and whether two people want to be overly attached to each other, or whether they want to just be fairly casual. As long as they both feel the same way, that's perfect, really.
All right, so I'd like to ask you both your personal opinion now. What would put you off a woman, and what makes her stand out for you?
I think, that was interesting. I think negativity, arrogance, rudeness, little things like grooming as well. Someone doesn't take care of herself. I mean, it's actually sometimes if someone doesn't feel good about themselves, they don't feel confident, you don't dislike them for it, you think that's a shame. We all have our bad days. I think also some women can overcompensate. Particularly in the modern era, they feel that we have a greater presence in the world, we're on a more equal playing field emotionally and across the board. And they can overcompensate and almost they can come across as a little bit arrogant. And they say, I'm going to take you on, I prove as good as you. And then it becomes a combat situation. It's not a date. It's like sort of verbal, mental, social and emotional judo. And, that's no fun. So generally, there are many things, I would say, I know the focus of the program is on what we don't like about women. There are many things I love about women. There are many things I think men love about women, and that are particularly female, and you should never lose those. And that's what attracts us to you. Yes, there are one or two things which aren't so helpful. And interesting, the guys there mentioned clinginess. And I think it stems from a time back in the dinosaur age when the men were physically bigger, stronger, more courageous, adventurous, have to knock a diplodocus over the head, drag this great beast back for a dinosaur dinner, which of course the woman would cook, but you don't drag him out to the woman he fancies, so therefore women have to look good, and their blue woad and, and rabbit fur, whatever they could find.
Blue woad.
And it's still in the psyche, and that's what's interesting. Some women, which saddens me, no matter how well educated, what part of society they come from, no how attractive they are, not just physically, mentally and otherwise, they sometimes feel they can't be the real them unless they're with a man. They can only be validated as an individual and in life if they're with a man.
Which is a great point, and we're going to go more into that because we need to talk about that more after this break, so join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. Now, Sean was saying something very interesting before the break about how some women, you probably put it in better words than that, but let me try. Some women, they feel that they have to be with a man to be worth anything. And this is something that's very, very important, because this is quite a trap, because if you are depending on someone else to feel good about yourself, you will always have problems in that relationship. You need to go into a relationship feeling complete and being happy within yourself, so that when you do get together with your other half, the relationship will go well, that you're not going to be sort of have loads of insecurities, to be depending on the other person to be saying how good you are and to boost your confidence, because that's just the recipe for disaster, isn't it, Sean?
It is. And what will happen, I mean, some men, and it's interesting, a lot of men will, the woman they marry or the women they chase after for fun, frolic and frottage, and generally frantic activity, will often sometimes be different than the woman they see marrying. Sometimes men, and I'm sorry to say this, guys, will go for what they consider as a safe bet. A woman who's not going to challenge them too much, who's going to fit and support them and nurture and hopefully nourish them. But that role, and often the woman can become a sort of a supplicant. And I've seen it, you know, you become a really, what I call a schmaltzy supplicant, where you try and appear almost girly. And I've actually heard conversations like this where, you know, as a man, you want to date a woman, not a prepubescent girl, you know, and somebody's going, oh, let's go on a datey-waity and be all lovey-wovey. And you think, yes, okay, oh, girly-whirly, you're now Dumpty-Wumpty, goodbye, why, you know, and then you get the fastest vehicle you can find and get the hell out of there, ideally a plane, into the continental one, and that's the only issue, and you don't want that. But there are women who put themselves in that position because they feel that therefore they become vulnerable, and therefore the man, being the man, want to protect them, and that's how they secure the man's affections. And it might do in the short term, and some men, yeah, it can do, because some men will like that, think, yeah, I feel like the big man, but you know what will happen over time, and then maybe a shorter time than the woman can tolerate, the man will lose respect for that woman.
And it's irritating as well.
Yeah, it is. You know, you want somebody to be proud of, and if you've got some whimpering supplicant in the corner, hey, little me, you know, and you think, oh, I hope they don't do that. If they do, they're definitely dumped and fired. Then, sorry to be so politically correct, then, you know, he's going to be more interested to meet someone who's got something about her, substance, who's happy to be her own woman, and is more natural, has an alluring feminine confidence and naturalness. And he's suddenly going to be attracted by her, and not the woman who's playing a role that she thinks she needs to perform to get the man she feels she wants to like her, to make her the person she feels she has to be.
It's just a mess, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's confusing.
Yeah. I think the thing is it's a bit like plastic surgery as well. That a relationship is not going to change who you are. And so, you know, getting into relationships, sometimes there's sort of elements of codependency going on there, where people sort of like focus on somebody else in order to sort of deal with something that's going on inside. And so it's actually, the relationship is not going to change the issue.
Yeah, I think being in a relationship also can improve your character sometimes, because, for example, in my marriage, my husband and I, we're very open with each other, and like if he sees something in me that he says, you know, Chris, you need to work on that, it's not a good quality, we do that for each other, so we work on ourselves. So it's like, so being in a relationship, it's not going to change me as a person as such, but it can help him. I think it can help improve.
Well, he's offering you an element of something that's real. So he's giving you something back that's very real for you to sort of see, and you're receiving that.
And he does as well.
But it's having the confidence as well, and that comes with, you know, the communication is key, and emotional communication is completely different from any type of. It is the most challenging form of communication, because you're dealing with somebody with whom you are inextricably linked emotionally and in so many other ways, and you say and or do the wrong thing, even get the wrong facial expression. You know, God forbid, not that I would know.
Because I'm just remembering all these things.
And no, I mean, you're giving great facial expression, I've got to say, Chrissy. I'm feeling the love. We both are, actually. And, okay, I feel better now. No, but seriously, that can happen, and therefore you've got to be very careful in what you say and how you put stuff across. There's another thing as well. And I think women need to be clear on what their outcome is. What is their emotional outcome? You know, when they go out dating, when they're going to find a man. Do they want a man who, you know, do they want something which is like fast food, you know, fast, frantic, frottage and frolic, or do they want sort of a gourmet meal, a long, luscious, lasting, loving relationship? And women shouldn't be afraid, because men kind of know what they want and not afraid to go for it. And it's partly about societal perception. But actually, if a woman thinks, well, I don't want a relationship, but I do want to be ravished and loved for a week, a weekend, or a few spare hours, so be it. You know, if that's what works for them, and to whatever level it works, then so be it. And women shouldn't be afraid to do that. But you can't go in, metaphorically speaking, into a fast food emotional environment and expect a gourmet meal.
I think you're talking about sort of impulsive behaviour. You know, where people can't really sort of tolerate just sitting back and being able to see what they really want, and they just jump at something.
Well, let's assume the viewers at home want a stable relationship, right? And let's take a look at, because we've got some sketches here of some dates that aren't going so well. And maybe you can both help us analyse what's going on here and what the lady could do better. Let's take a look at this.
So I've already ordered us like a platter each, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the most expensive thing on the menu, but you know, I've got it, it's fine, it's cool.
Oh, okay.
So let's have a little look at the menu. Yeah. I'm on a diet, so I can only have about 50 calories, sorry.
Oh, well, that's just 50.
Yeah, 50 calories for the whole meal. 50 calories. What should I have? Maybe I'll get a salad with no olive oil. Olive oil is fattening.
Right.
You know, the thing is, it's weird, like, coming on a date with you, because, like, I don't normally date guys like you, to be honest.
Serious?
Yeah, like, you know, I went through a really difficult breakup recently with my ex, and he was always a little bit, I don't know, it's always a bit shortchanged. He didn't have that much money, but it's not an option because I've got loads of money.
You are paying for tonight, yeah?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean...
No, it's fine. Yeah, no, I can pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
no.
just checking. Sorry, I didn't want you to think it was me.
That's all right. That's fine.
Just because you ordered wine and stuff,
yes,
you know.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, I can get the food because I'm able to do that. I'm stable. Like,
but what do you do though? Like, what job do you do?
I'm an engineer. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You don't get paid very much, do you?
No, well, we do. I make like 5 figures a month. I mean.
Because my little brother did that as well. So.
Oh, he did. Did he?
Yeah,
oh,
and he used to be like coming in these little, like dirty jeans and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'd be like, "Come on, brother!" Like, I take him shopping.
It's the good stuff I picked as well.
Yeah, really nice. Most expensive.
Sorry about
No,
that.
that's all right, no,
I just presumed that because you're the boy and stuff, you pay.
Yeah, no, I was gonna do it anyway. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
No problem.
great.
So what, may I ask, did we order like food? Because I don't really.
Yeah, I've ordered this platter.
Okay.
And it's going to be 1 platter each.
What's
and,
in it? Like, what?
Oh, just like a mix. It's like really good. Like I've been here before
Okay.
with my friends, and I've
Yeah.
like sport them before, and I know exactly what's good and what's not. Do you know what I mean?
So tell me about your work anyway. Oh, you did already.
Well, I'm a labourer on
Yeah.
a building site, which is awful. It's horrible, but.
Oh my god! I just remembered I got to call my mum about something.
Oh,
where's my hand?
Do you know this area so well? Like, what is nice around here? Like, where can we go?
Well, do you know what? The thing is, like, the problem between me and you, do you know what I mean? Is probably that you won't be able to go the places I go. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
Maybe we'll put most of them on my side. Just because I like to, there's some things I don't like, so
right.
I don't want to eat things I don't like.
Oh, well, that's fair enough. Yeah. So.
Ah, bless you. But obviously, keep sipping because I thought that I've got it on tab. So.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Do you come here a lot?
Well, usually when I come on dates, I do come here. Yeah.
Oh.
So I
right.
usually come.
So, right.
I like it. It's cool. Boys usually like it as well.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's very nice and really expensive.
I also like get my makeup done every single morning by like the best cosmetics in the whole.
Oh, they're just in your house?
No, they just come over and I just
okay.
put them on tab like that.
On tab.
And that's it.
Definitely
really.
on tab.
So I don't eat olive oil.
Oh, right.
I'm not being funny, but I'm going on holiday and we're going on a girly holiday to Ibiza and I want to look really skinny because at the end of the day, boys don't like fat girls.
Oh, you've got a car?
Yeah.
You drive?
Yeah,
wow,
I do.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations. When was that, like last week?
I've just got all the oil everywhere.
So there is oil in it then, is there?
Put your forks like that.
Go to your food.
Oh, thank you so much. That's gorgeous.
Hummus.
It's amazing.
Nice spinach pipes, panna cotta.
Oh, nice.
It's delicious. Thank you so
That's
much.
the vegetable madness.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And mix of it.
I love this. Thank you so much.
Enjoy you.
Thank you so
We
much.
will. It's
Have a bit.
delicious.
Thank you.
Right, this is mine.
Right, let me do a little bit of this and a little bit of this.
What is it?
They're like beans.
Oh, right.
Basically, they're also like, they're good for you, but they're like really good for your health and stuff and like good for breaking down the fat. So obviously, I'm interested in some of that.
Right.
That's kind of like bread and hummus only. I mean, can I?
No, because I ordered it particularly for you to have that bit, and this is mine. So enjoy. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, my ex-boyfriend is going to be on the holiday, like where we're staying. My friend and her friend, basically, they're friends with my ex-boyfriends, like both of them. And apparently they're going to be staying like on the other side of our villa. So it's like we're going to see each other all the time.
It's like a little.
All right, you can have that one.
I can put it on my plate myself. I mean, I don't need you to kind of. Thanks for that.
Okay. Anyway, so I need to look really nice and I'm going to go shopping and stuff. So I need to save my money. So that's why I was like, oh, cool, if you're paying, because obviously I need to save my money for my holiday and stuff. Like, yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
Oh, no, you just have that and your bread, and I'll just keep to my bit. I've already given you one of mine. How much more do you want? Do you know what I mean?
So listen, what's your plans after this?
I don't know. We can go back to one of our houses.
Yeah, you can come back to my place if you like.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I thought you never asked.
Yeah, well.
This looks delicious.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look lovely?
Yeah, would you like some bread?
I'd love some bread.
Go for it.
Thanks for sharing. That's really nice.
Right.
Okay, so we'll go straight back to yours after, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, cool. Right, okay. Full up. Right. That's me done.
Oh, really? Okay, well, okay. Let me finish a little bit more, Don't want to waste your money.
No, yeah.
Don't want to waste yours.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Right, so before the break we saw two very bad examples, well, two bad dates, examples of very, very bad dates. And what did you guys think when you watched that? That was cringing, wasn't it?
Run. If I would have done, I would have run and left the country and live under an assumed hairstyle with immediate effect, quite frankly. I mean, everything was in there. I mean, you know, emasculating the man, being embarrassed about, oh, you're going to pay, you know, talking about your dietary issues, you know, I got calories, and then talking about the ex-boyfriend, going on holiday, ex-boyfriend, I'll be able to see him, and, you know, all the rest of it, I've got to look really smoking hot, and all this sort of stuff. And the other one belittling, oh, yeah, you're just an engineer, but you don't earn much, you know, and it's just... But the thing is, those situations do happen, and yeah, talking about ex-boyfriends. I remember once going on a blind date, and a beautiful woman walked in, elegant, feminine, beautifully.
Did you think, wow, as soon as she walked in?
Oh, I thought, you know, ding dong, this is really good. But then I thought, I'm not sure, there's something, a look in her eye, just her manner. She sat down, and within 2 minutes, unprompted, told me how neurotic and uptight she was. And I thought, fair enough, I agree. Yeah. Because then she proceeded to tell me, give me a litany of disastrous relationship with ex-boyfriends, you know, and including Elliot. I got a treatise on Elliot for the best part of 20 minutes. And I thought, I can't do this on an empty stomach. So I feel like this was going to be a 3-course meal. I'm now turned into a 1-course meal. Forget the starter and even pudding. I love pudding. And then I feel I know more about Elliot than his life coach and doctor do. But, you know, you get those things. And I think sometimes it's just nerves. And I'm sure you've come across that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't think they were that bad.
Really?
Yeah, no, I honestly, I just sort of felt I understood them.
Oh.
I really did. I felt that, you know, there was lots of anxiety going on there.
Mm-hmm. Which lady in particular do you think? Both of them?
Well, I think one lady was wanting to just sort of let the person that was her date, she was just wanting to sort of talk to him about all her worries around diet. And in a way, I think that perhaps she was trying to communicate to him, I want you to be able to manage this. So I think that's why she was yeah, I think that's why she was trying to talk to him. And then there was another woman in there, and she was basically sort of saying, it's okay, I've got all the cash, I've got all the money.
She just came across as very arrogant to me, though.
Well,
like, she just wants to prove that she's better than him and she's got more money than him.
The opposite.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely, very low self-esteem. And what she was trying to do is don't worry, I don't really care. I will look after you, I've got all the cash. But in some ways, perhaps it just felt too much. But she wasn't able to offer herself, she had to you know, offer the money.
That's really interesting take on it.
It's interesting because my grandmother, you know, remember saying, as a boy, she said, you know, there's a old saying, it's very true, never make a woman feel plain and never make a man look stupid. It's to do with male pride. And, you know, the various things women can do, I think, to help themselves and help themselves with men, there needs to be, first of all, some women can lose before they've even left their own house. And they worry about measurements, bust measurements, waist, hip measurements, leg measurements, yada, yada. Actually, the measurement needs to worry about is 6 inches between each ear, the brain, the mind. And they need to think before they go out, and it's a lot to do with how you program your subconscious. And there are exercises you can do, and generally it's your life rule. And what I mean by life rule, it's almost like a subconscious thing. And a lot of people's life rule is too harsh. Like, you know, a lot of women might say, yes, I have some good qualities, but probably my bum is too big, or I'm not as tall, or as leggy, or as this, or as that as other women. And they go out like that, and that's what they give off, because the mind, the body, and it does, it comes across.
Confident,
and it's by the way they walk as well, and it doesn't help. Women try and glam up, and you know, and we walk as a nation, I think, and men are as guilty of this as possible, as much as women. As a nation, I think we walk badly, and some women wear heels, and heels, I think, God, I'm a bloke, I'd hate to wear heels. And
Lisa loves them.
Yeah,
she absolutely loves them.
And I've been watching her walk about the studio, and I thought, There's a woman who doesn't need to practice anymore, you know, and flows as if she's on casters. But not all women have Lisa's, you know, high heel quality, and they struggle. And sometimes they walk, rather than a woman, like a hod carrier with hemorrhoids. It's not a good look.
I mean,
and you know, that's the only problem. And it's all about the demeanour, how they walk, how they move, how they think, and what they say. Yeah. And a man will see all this and think, well, there's a woman that comes up, very meek, you know, and apologetic, and rather than exuding not arrogance, but a warm, natural, elegant sensuality and happiness with herself, you know, and accepting all the beautiful, bizarre, and even beastly aspects of her character. And if a woman is, you know, accepts those elements and is happy to meet the man on a level and not with an expectation or a hope, or even a belief that she's not as good as the man, then, you know, that she's not going to get very far. You know, men need to be able to respect women. They want to be admired, yes, because of the male ego, but they want a woman who's very much her own woman. Yeah. And who I think, particularly in this day and age, she wants somebody who's got something to say for themselves as well, who likes themselves. You know, one who's warm and bubbly and bright and attractive and has an effervescence about her. And is interested in you as she is interested.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I noticed about all of those conversations was that there actually weren't two people in sitting down together. There were two separate people there. Yeah. And it was almost as if the woman was having a monologue with herself. And I think that's, you know, in some ways, when people do get together, they are actually sort of relating to parts of themselves. That are sort of, you know, it's almost like if I get these two glasses here and I put, you know, pour a bit of water in there and in the other. That's kind of what's going on in early relationships. You know, bits of ourselves are in each other, and that's what we're actually conversing with. So sometimes I think that they might be in fantasy thinking about somebody, some other significant person in their life, and they're sort of, so they actually aren't seeing that person, which is sort of what you're saying, really, that they're not really seeing each other.
Ian, what would be your top tips to the ladies tonight on how to get their man? There's someone that they like, and what would you say to them? What would be your top tips?
Don't try and get the man.
Very good point.
Yes.
What should they do then? But they can't also show that they're not interested.
No. Well, show interest when it's beckoning. I think that it's really important to be comfortable with yourself. And I think that what we can see from a lot of that is that in relationships, it's about autonomy that we struggle with. It's control. And it's control and being out of control. And you can see that the woman who was ordering everything. So we've got some control stuff here. Okay, so it's just about being able to tolerate slightly being out of control, and allowing things to happen, and to feel comfortable. Really, start with yourself. Don't go and get a man. Don't think that a man's going to fix you. Start with yourself.
That's a really strong point. Okay, unusual.
It's interesting, actually.
Top tips.
Well, I was going to pick on what Ian said. He made a very good point. Don't try and get the man. My business mentor talks to me and the other people mentoring group about don't sell, invite or allow people to buy. And it's the same, and I think the same translates through to women and men as well, trying to attract women, is don't try and invite the man to buy into you, to be interested in you, allow him to be interested. Yeah. You're not trying to sell yourself. The more you try and sell, and particularly with men, because of the different emotional thermostat tolerance levels that men and women have, you know, the less likely you are to get the man you want. And actually, at the end of the day, you know, man's got to respect woman, but also, it's the way you move, the way you walk, the way you talk as well. And it's actually just being without expectation. The difference between expectation and hope. You can hope. An old instructor once said to me, expect nothing but hope for everything. Yes. And it should be the same. If you go with expectations, a lot of women go with expectations, I think maybe I'm going to meet a man tonight. And that can come across, and they can look a bit desperate or negative. But you want somebody who has a joy about them, you know, and who's happy whether with a man or not. And who has as I say, an effervescence, the way they talk, but they're interested. You know, they meet you on the level. They just enjoy talking to you and maybe bring the best out of you as well. And think, you know, I know a lot of men, women complain that men, you know, do a lot of talking, don't ask enough questions. Well, if that's what they do, they do. But also be interested and interesting.
I mean, Sorry, the other thing is that you know, we must be also aware of the neurobiology. You know, that in our systems there are certain chemicals that are flying around when we're in a flirtatious environment, and you know, we will behave oddly, and we have to forgive ourselves for that.
You're so understanding. It isn't easy. Oh, we have reached the end of the show, but this is something that I do tell my single friends, because sometimes they're so like, oh my God, I'm single, I need to meet a man and stuff. But the thing is, if you are thinking that all the time, like you were saying, you're both saying, it sort of kind of gives off, people can tell, and you don't act normal, basically. So I always advise them, invest in yourself, go and do courses maybe that you've always wanted to do, go traveling, do things that you love to do. And that's actually going to make you more interested. And sometimes when you're not even looking for someone, that's when someone will come up to you and start talking to you, because they've seen something interesting about you. They've seen your confidence. So I would say first, invest in yourself. If you're not feeling good about yourself, if maybe you've got issues from the past that you haven't dealt with, deal with all that stuff first. If you need counselling, get that first. Because the thing is, if you go into a relationship as I did with loads of issues, within yourself, then you are going to end up with problems and probably put off the man maybe that was meant for you. So always deal with what's inside first, and build your confidence first before you even think about getting into a relationship. That would be my advice, but we have run out of time. Thank you so much for your advice. It was really, really interesting. And thank you, Lisa Marie, for everything.
My pleasure.
And we will see you back again. It's Friday today, isn't it? Yes, it's Friday. So have a wonderful, I always forget the day. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday. Bye-bye for now.
I don't want to go home on my own, I don't want to go home on my own. Why should I?
I don't know.
I don't want to go home on my own.
Well, I'm sorry you don't appreciate it. I mean, it's nothing to do with me. It's none of my business.
I hope you drown. I'd be really rude and annoying, aren't I?
So have you been here before?
Usually when I come on dates.
Sure, in a sec. Everything all right? So how long have you been on your diet for then?
About a week.
Right, okay. Doing well? Or are you doing well at the moment?
Doing well at calorie counting. Sorry, I've got the giggles. It's all right, we can cut to something.